Hey YouTube, alright, I'm going to be showing you how to put a new hard drive in. I've got an external not an external, an additional hard drive. I bought a 2 terabyte drive, which I just did an unboxing for. And now I'm going to be showing you how to put the drive in. The first thing you want to do is remove your power cord. You don't really have to, but you should. It's just safe. It's a smart thing to make sure there's absolutely no power, no way that you can shock yourself. You can see on this computer case here that it's got a little slide, a little thing to grab your fingers on, which means that this top slides off. So I'm going to be removing the one screw over here, and further down there's another screw down at the bottom, and then I will slide this thing off and I'll have access to the hard bay drive. Alright, what we're looking at now is the original drive that's already in there. It has a power cable, power connector. Here's an additional power connector. It has the data connection. It's this little blue cable over here. And we're going to need one of those for the second drive. And it does not appear that this unit has one of those cables. So you might have to get yourself a cable to connect your drive. They sell them in 90 degree. You can see how this connector angles so that it will not stick out. They sell them in straight and 90 degree angle. It just depends on your setup, what cable you need. 90 degree would work here, as would a straight cable. So the next step is finding out where to mount it. This computer has the drive mounted on the side, so I'm assuming that these holes here there's holes down on the bottom. I'm assuming that the second drive is going to mount in this space over here. And therefore, not only do you need a cable, an additional cable for data, and you might also need an additional cable for power, it's hard to say, but you're also going to need mounting screws. There are 4 mounting screws. And most hard drives don't come with mounting screws, so you might have to go into your collection of extra screws, or you might have to go down to the computer store. You can probably just go down to Home Depot and pick up 4 screws that will be the right size that will mount your hard drive. So it's time to get the hard drive mounted, and then after that I will connect my power cable, and then I will find a data cable here and plug it in and show you how that's done. Alright, on the drive you can see where we've got screw holes, screw hole 1, screw hole 2, and over here 1 and 2, and those are going to mount over here, here, and further down we've got 4 holes, or 2 holes down at the bottom. So there's 4 holes. You can see on this computer it says hard drive over here, HDD0, and further down HDD1. So that's where this will mount. Your computer is probably going to be different how it mounts. A lot of them, they just stack right on top of each other. So I can't really give you any more advice except just look at where it's supposed to mount on your computer. And I'm going to take those 4 screws, screw this thing down, and then start connecting the cables. Alright, you can see that I've got the drive mounted. I only put in 3 screws. I could have put in 4, but no big deal. Okay, you see the connector over here, you see how the pins are displayed, and you got the connector number listed. That's what you want to do with this one here, and it's a very tight fit for the power cable, which I don't like. It's putting a lot of pressure on there, but this will only go on in one direction, and I can't do it with one hand, so let me shut off the camera, but I'm going to connect my power cable, and then I'm going to go get a data cable, and I'm going to plug it in here, and plug it into the motherboard. Alright, I am back, and unlike most people who make recordings, I make sure that when I'm doing detailed stuff like this that we have good lighting. And here is a well-lit motherboard now. You see the blue wire. The blue wire that is down there is going to the hard drive, right over here. The orange wire, which you see over there, is going to the CD drive. And then there is a white connector, and then there is a black connector. SATA 0, SATA 1, SATA 2, and SATA 3. Those are your different connections for your two additional hard drives. So you can have 4 SATA things here. One of them for me is the CD drive, then the main hard drive, and I'm going to put in an additional drive, and I could still put in one more drive or one more SATA item if I wanted to. So I'm going to be plugging it into the white connector over there, and then I'm going to be plugging the other end into this area here. Luckily, I saved a SATA cable from another thing that I was working on, and here's my SATA cable, so let me plug that guy in, or girl in, and then we'll see what happens. Alright, I've got the cable plugged in. These connectors will only mate in one direction, and if you look, there's like an L-shaped piece on the inside of the connector on both mates, so make sure that you line that up. If the connector does not easily press in, then double check to make sure that you're not pressing and trying to plug it in the wrong way. Now here is something kind of odd. I've got my right angle, but you see that since the right angle only goes in one direction, no, not the band, it kind of goes in backwards here. I don't really have a choice. I could plug this in to the bottom, but then I'd be blocking the other SATA connector, which I'm really not going to use. And I'm putting my finger over. The case is going to rest perfectly over there, and it's really not going to do any damage. So it's not a big issue. It really isn't a big issue. But you can only plug these in one direction. Okay, so that's the installation of the hard drive now. And you can see that I've got all my mounting screws taken care of. And I've got the connector plugged in, and I've got the data connector, and I've got the power connector, and I've got everything plugged into the motherboard. So it's time to power up and see what happens. Alright, it found my device, and it installed the driver, and it looks like it was already formatted. So Windows 7 appears to have done what it needs to do. With XP, you will probably, with most machines, you have to let it know that a new hard drive has been installed, and you're letting the BIOS accept it. But this one, it looks like everything's been done automatically. So let's check it out and see if it shows up in my computer as a working hard drive. Okay, so if we look at what's going on here, the BIOS recognized the hard drive, but the hard drive was not formatted. I was wondering if that was true, and obviously it is. We've got my drive C, I've got my recovery drive, and then I've got my external media drive, but I don't have any additional hard drives here. My 2 terabyte drive does not exist, except as a device. So I need to format it, and the way to do that is you go up to the top over here, and you click on My Computer, and we're going to click on My Computer. I don't want to do that. I want to go to My Computer, and I want to right-click, and then I want to go to Manage. See all your options over there? I want to do Manage. So I'm going to left-click on Manage, and this window comes up now. Let's make this a little easier to read. This window comes up, and you want to go over to this thing that says Disk Management, which really controls all of your drives, your hard drives. You're managing your hard drives. Double-click on that, left-click, double-click, and did it do anything? There we go. Here we go. You must initialize your disk before Logical Disk Manager can access it. Disk 0, and this is a 2 terabyte drive, and master boot record is what is recognized up to 2 terabytes. GPD is not recognized on all of Windows, but this machine's only going to be on this machine. It probably wouldn't really matter. But I'm just going to do the master boot record thing, and let's move aside for a second, and you can see that I've got my regular drives, which I was talking about, my drive C, and I've got my, which is healthy, that's my boot drive, and I've got my recovery drive, which is the Dell recovery thing, and it shows the same thing over here. We've got the healthy drives, we've got the removables down here, but you've got this thing over here, disk 0, unknown, 1863, that's really almost 2 terabyte, and it's not initialized, which means that it's really not formatted. And so that's where this button comes in. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to let it initialize. It's going to go in there and format. And now that it's initialized, all the space is unallocated. And what you do then is you right click. Hold on a minute. Okay, you see over here where it says your layout is simple, your simple drive, and this is going to be my boot drive. You really just want to set this up, which is formatting, and so you right click over here, and new simple drive, which is their new name for it. That's the only option that you have. So you left click on new simple drive, and then it's going to go do what it needs to do. Choose your volume size. You can choose, well, this is the full size of the drive, and I want this whole drive to be the amount that it allows me, which is really not 2 terabytes, but 1.9. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to click on, usually it gives you a chance to label the hard drive letter. I'm going to click next. There it is, assign the letter. And E is fine. So I'm going to click next. You can always change that later. Choose whether you want to format this volume. Remember, I was talking about formatting, what the settings you want are. Do not format this volume. Well, the whole goal is to format it so I can use it. So yes, I want to format it. I want to use NTFS. I don't want to use that exFAT thing. Volume label, I'm going to label this 2TB, just so that I know what's going on. Perform a quick format, enable file and folder compression. No, I don't want compression on here. I don't want to have to deal with that. Quick format, you can do a full format. Quick format should be fine. Full format is probably going to check for error problems, and it's going to take forever, and that's the whole goal, is to make sure that everything is working on here. So quick format, no. Click finish, and this is probably going to take a really, really, really long time because it's 2 terabytes. Formatting, you can see it's formatting over there. And I don't know how long it's going to take, so let me shut off the camera and I'll come back to you in a minute. We'll see if my new drive E, you don't see anything up here right now, but soon we should see where it says drive E, and it should say that this is a healthy E drive. Alright, if you look at the second listing over there, it will show basic raw formatting. That's the drive that I just installed. It's formatting. That's the 1.8, which is really, you can see originally it's 2 terabyte and then it goes down to 1.9. Now it's really 1.8, but it's formatting. It's doing what it needs to do, and there we go. So on Windows XP, it used to give you an idea of what percentage of formatting it was at. This one, Windows 7 doesn't do that, but that's okay. And here we go, 1%. It's been running for about 2 minutes. We're at 1%. Obviously, this needs to go to 100%. Had I gone with the quick format, it probably would be done right now. Normally, these drives are already pre-formatted in a way. A low-level formatter is at high level. Normally, they're already taken care of, and all you got to do is come in here and do the little formatting thing, and you're done. But I'm going to do the full format because I want it to check for errors and make sure that everything is totally clean and block out what shouldn't be written to. So this is going to probably take a good hour to do, and then I'll check to make sure if my drive E is available, and that will complete the video. Hey, make sure that you go to my main channel page and click on support this channel, Learning Chords, and help me out if you can with whatever donations you want. Do a thumbs up, do a subscribe. Make sure you post the links to all my videos on all your cool websites so other people can see them. And I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you learned something from this. That's it. Okay, 19%. It's been going for 45 minutes, so this is going to be a few hours. I will finish off the video tomorrow morning, and hopefully we will see a good drive with no bad sectors and my drive E. Alright, here we go. Autoplay shows up 2 terabyte drive that I named. So that means that everything formatted, and then the computer, the operating system, saw the hard drive. Let's go down over here. Okay, nicely zoomed in, 2 terabyte drive, healthy. And I don't know if I can get it. You have the options over here to shrink the volume to to make, I don't know, I'm not sure. I think you can break this up into different partitions. If you can't, then go online and get Mini Partition. It's a free program. It works really cool. And one last thing. Let's check and see what the stats are on this hard drive. Up over here it shows what it did before. Free space, capacity, fault, overhead, everything's healthy. But I want to go and I'm going to right click on the hard drive itself and see what data I get. Alright, and I downloaded a third-party program because Windows doesn't have Smart Detail, and it shows the health status is good, which obviously I knew, and I was hoping to find how many bad sectors I had, but no big deal on that. That's how you install a hard drive. I'm going to be doing 2 additional hard drives. One bit of advice: when you buy a hard drive on the internet, make sure you test it out right away. Do the install. If it's defective and you try to install this thing 30 days later, you're probably going to be out of your warranty to return it, and you have caused yourself a lot of money problems because nobody's going to take it back. So check out your drives immediately when you get them. I'm going to do 2 additional drives connected to USB ports to format them and check them out so I don't have to open up the PC and plug everything in. And that is how you install an additional hard drive in almost any computer. Alright, for those of you that don't want to mess with installing the hard drive inside your computer, here's that USB system that I showed you before. Here's my hard drive. Here's my new hard drive right over here. Right over there. That's the bottom of it. I've got the power connector plugged in through my external enclosure, and now I'm going to go and do the exact same thing of going to the computer and letting it detect the hard drive and doing a format. So here we go. I'm going to click on the power. Alright, the computer is detecting the drive, as we can see, just like when I had it plugged in without using the enclosure. It sees the device, it's installed everything, and now I'm going to go over and click on this, and we'll see what happens. I'm definitely going to have to do another format like you just saw me do with the other one. Let me go over to my computer. I'm going to go over to my computer. I'm going to right-click. Okay, I went right-click. I went down to Manage. Computer Management comes up. I'm going to click on Disk Management with the left mouse button. Did it take it? There we go. Now we've got the exact same thing we just saw before, where you have to initialize the hard drive. I'm going to do master boot record. I'm going to click OK, and then we're going to see, we should see, let's look up at the top. We got the 2 terabyte that I just formatted. We've got my OS on drive C that was already there. I've got my basic healthy OEM, which was there, and that's all it really sees right now. Let's scroll down and see what we're looking at. We've got my 2 terabyte drive. See, that's the advantage of naming your drives until you get everything done. I know exactly what this drive is instead of just saying drive 1, drive 2, or... Okay, so I've got my regular drives, and I should have my new drive sitting in here, right over there, unallocated. That's the new drive that's plugged in on OEM, on the external thing. New simple drive. What I want to do here is I want to format it, and is it going to let me do that? There we go. Welcome to the new simple format wizard. I'm going to click Next. I want to use the full size of the drive, so I don't need to make any changes. I'm going to click Next. I'm going to let it assign whatever drive it wants to, because when I plug this into another machine, it will take care of assigning drives, or I can change it when it's on another machine. So I'm just going to click Next. Format. You want to format this volume, or do not format. Well, obviously I want to format it. And last time I did the full format. Quick is fine, but I'm going to do the full format. It takes hours and hours and hours to do, but it's a complete format, and it's really the way to go. So I've got the time. I'm going to label this thing 2 terabyte. And then I'm going to do 2 terabyte. I need to know the difference. 2 terabyte number 2. So I'll know exactly what I've got here. And it's going to go and do exactly what you just saw it do earlier. Right up over here, we've got formatting. You can see formatting over there. And right down here, if we scroll down, we'll see it's doing its formatting. Here's the drive that I just put in here. And it shows that everything's healthy, and it's going to start its formatting in a few seconds. And that is how you install an additional drive on a USB enclosure instead of doing it from your PC, having it plugged directly into the ports. And there you have it. 2 terabyte number 2 drive K. As simple as can be on formatting a new hard drive. Hopefully you learned something from this. Make sure you watch my other cool videos and go to my channel page, click on the donate to support my channel link if you can. Thank you.